Hey there, thanks for stopping in. Really appreciate you being here. So the focus of this video is to lay down what my financial priorities are for the city of Carmel. Number one, my chief cornerstone is I don't want any new debt. No new bonds, no new loans. In fact, I'd rather pay off as aggressively as possible any existing debt that we do have. I think $1.5 billion approximately in debt is a bit too much for a population of 100,000 people. So I'd like to do what I can to correct that. The other thing is, I think we've spent enough money that we don't have on stuff we don't need. Also, I'd really like to see a lot more transparency in the financial realm. I've heard quite a few horror stories already from several people who are in the fiscal dealings of Carmel over the past couple of years, and it's not great. So I would like to see a lot more financial transparency. Also, I don't want people to be treated like numbers. I want to see the city of Carmel and its citizens treated like actual people instead of, oh, if this number population is collected for X reason, whatever, then we can get increased amount of money for bonds. And I don't want that. I think Carmel collects enough money. We're plenty well off. I just don't see the need to continue to borrow more money. So just live within our means. Just spend the money that we've got. And if we don't have the money, don't spend it. So I want to prioritize everything in a need to, ought to, and want to basis. Basically primary focus, secondary focus, and a third, tertiary. Primary focus would be obviously road upkeep. Make sure, there's no potholes. Make sure our roads are clean and good shape. Also emergency services. Make sure the police force is well staffed and well trained. Fire departments also, and then also schools. Make sure they're functioning and running well. I'd like to avoid a school referendum if possible. I do have another plan financially for that, which I'll get to later in the video. As for the ought to basis, I think we ought to visually uplift the community in certain areas where they might need it. For example, maybe plant some green space, or maybe do like a tree or a small park. Update a sidewalk, place a sidewalk where there might not be one. So it's not stuff that we need, but it's stuff that we ought to do. Then there's stuff that we want, which would be artwork and large exhibitions, more buildings that don't really satisfy a need or a particular function. It's something that City of Carmel would foot the bill for as opposed to just the developer. Specifically, the CRC handles most of this kind of stuff. I think they've been doing a great job. I think what we have is fantastic. But I think we've just developed a bit too much too quickly, especially with the 5-story apartment buildings. I do want to be a lot more prudent in where we build those. If it's going to be in an area where it's used to be a single-story building and then is turned into a 5-story apartment building, or if it's butted right up against a single-family neighborhood, I don't want to see any of that kind of stuff. I would rather see if it's going to be a 2 or 3-story apartment building, downtown Carmel, something like that, and it's going to be turned into a 5-story apartment building, or basically its first floor is business, top 4 floors are residential. Those. So I'd rather see those be put in more area appropriate locations and be a remodel or redevelopment of an existing building that is similar in size, comparable at least. So that's the kind of thing I want to focus on. I do want less tax money being spent on other developer stuff. I think we've done probably a little too much with the development. And as far as the TIF program is concerned and the CRC, I just want them to be a little less busy. I don't want to kill it. I don't want to lock up the brakes. I don't want to change what they're doing. Just, holy cow, let's just let this breathe for a little bit. Let's see how all these apartment buildings currently fill out, what that's going to do, traffic flow, all that kind of stuff, and then decide how to move forward. Again, with need to, ought to. If there's a traffic flow problem in a certain area, I'm absolutely open to new developments to widen out roads, add in a roundabout where there's maybe a traffic light that's slowing things down, things of that nature. I am actually very open to that kind of stuff. The other thing I'm open to development-wise would be just retail space. So business retail space. I've talked to a number of small business owners that say that their rent is getting so expensive, they're getting choked out. And it's hard for local mom and pop shops to have a store here in Carmel anymore. So I would like to have retail space, especially if it's going to be set up in like a horseshoe with green space in the middle, like a tree or something, just a place where you can walk your dog, hang out, have a good time, maybe some picnic tables, and then just hang out in the area and then support local business. I think that would be fantastic. Or if there's an area where nobody can find parking, add another parking garage. I'm absolutely okay with that. So those are the things I'm open to. I just want to be a lot more prudent about where we're building what. Yeah, just that's pretty much the gist of what I'm running on. So as far as the primary financial focuses are concerned, once those are paid off, I would like to reserve 25% of everything that's left over as a capital reserve or nest egg, rainy day fund, emergency fund, whatever you want to call it. Out of that is what I would like to pay for all the ought to stuff. And once that is covered, then I want to pay for the want to stuff or the tertiary primaries or tertiary focus. So things like artwork would fall into that tertiary category. And I do really want to have an art festival. I can go in great detail about that in another video, so leave a comment if you want to see that. But if we don't have the funding to support or put up new artwork, I'm open to the idea of auctioning off certain pieces of artwork and then using the money from that to pay for new artwork, specifically the COVID statue. Things like that, I would be open to. So I like the idea of revolving artwork, especially to support local artists. So anyway, that's all I've got for now. Feel free to chime in to any kind of questions, comments, concerns, things you might see in the video or wonder about maybe you didn't quite cover something. Feel free to leave a comment. I will respond to that. If there's something up where YouTube doesn't let me see the comment, which is, I've noticed it's happening a little bit more often now, feel free to shoot me an email. I can see that. I will do my best to get to emails. I definitely do comments on YouTube a lot easier typically because I have days dedicated to specifically YouTube. So I'm already there. I'm going to see it. I'm going to be able to take care of it a lot better. But anyway, yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. So as always, stay classy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.